Hi there YouTube, Webflowers and everyone watching this video. Welcome to day one of my 100 days of Webflow journey. And you know this is the new one because in these videos I don't have hair. So today we are diving into the new Webflow interface and how the updates that has been released since last year changed the way we work with the platform. So let's get to it. So in this first video, we'll start with a recap of the Webflow updates or the Webflow features that have been introduced since the last challenge or in the past year and that are actually changing the way we use the platform. I've personally been using Webflow for the past 6 years now, and let me tell you, the updates that have been happening only in this last year were true game changers, and they truly changed the platform and how we work with it. So let's kick things off with a brief overview of the new Webflow platform.
All right, so I know there has been some mixed feelings about this new UI, but honestly, I've grown to love it. It does take some time getting used to. If you're very used to the old platform, this platform might have taken you some time to get used to, but by now it's been a few months and I'm actually not even thinking about the old UI. This new one is much more intuitive, it's easy to use, it's much more subtle. I can focus on my stuff and not get distracted by anything that's out there. So I think all in all, this is something that is really great to have happen. So you see this navigation menu is now more subtle. You have these icons that are clean, they're simple, they're basic, yet they explain what they do. The layout option on the style panel here, this one, especially this one with the flex and grid, did change a lot, and as you can see, you have this box where you can choose the alignment. However, you do have more options, like you have the wrap down, wrap up, and all these, and these weren't there before, which makes it great. However, to be honest, it did take me some weeks to get used to this one because I was super used to the old one, which had buttons, just buttons. But I think this one is much better now and much more intuitive, and it's much more comprehensive, so you can control more of the display layout. All in all, I think the new look is awesome. It was overdue, to be honest. As I've mentioned, I've been using this platform for almost 6 years now, and this update that happened last year, or these sequence of updates that have been happening since last year, have been the most updates that have happened since I started using the platform. As you can see, the whole thing changed now, and there are a lot of new stuff and new features, new possibilities that can be done now, which is amazing. They do give you an option to adjust the layout interface, and this is for accessibility purposes, I guess. You can choose a brighter or a darker or a default option. You can have some getting started tooltips or help points if you're new to the platform. However, I prefer the darker option because it's the closest to what's already what has been there before. So I prefer the darker option. However, this is for you to explore. So enough with the UI updates, and let's get into the features and let's see what features are now there and how they can help us improve the way we use the platform. So let's have a look at these new features and the additions that have been introduced since last year. Now, I'm going to go briefly over them, and hopefully this helps you understand them more, but we will go deeper and deeper throughout this journey, so we will see how these work in action when we go through this 100 days journey. Now, let's start with the first one being components. Now, components are much more powerful than ever before. I remember when components was introduced, I think it was called something else, and then now with the new additions, with all the updates, it has become much more powerful. As you can see, this is an example pulled from the Loomis framework, and this is a great example for how much you can customize your component with properties. As you can see here, you can hide and show items, you can change the text, you can adjust alignment, adjust classes, and adjust many different things. And of course, you can reuse this instance or this component somewhere else and change the content of it. So that's the point of components, is to help you set up some sort of like a template or a theme or a guide that is preset, that you can give to, let's say, your marketing team, your other departments in the company, and they're easily able to just change the context, just change the text without worrying about changing the layout or affecting the layout itself. Another thing that components have now is slots. So if I go on the component settings, I can go on the add panel and I can see slot, and this allows me to basically add another component only on this instance. Well, let me show you. So I have global content instance and I have this slot and it's empty. I can add here, for example, the button play. So now I have this button here showing, but if I go to another global content instance, I don't have this button and I can add something specific or special for me. So this is basically allowing you to customize your components even further. Thanks to this can get really intensive and you can basically create entire pages with properties, components, and slots. And you can give them to anyone. They will be able to fill in the information, just change the logo, change the text, and that's almost great. It's like Shopify customization or Wix or those website builders that they give you these theme or templates that you can build up together and change the context. So this is the same thing, but you're building it yourself on Webflow and then perhaps sharing it with a client who will be able to just put things together, make their own section or their own page, and they can change the content easily. The second most amazing feature that was introduced was variables. Now, variables are almost perfect. Variables have been a game changer, easily one of my favorite updates. Currently, if you go to the variables panel, which is this one, you can add variables in 3 types of variables, which is size, color, and font family. Now these 3 can pretty much cover most of the use cases, so you can mix and match between them and play around with it. You can organize the lists that you have with, let's say, a dot like this, and if you add more dots, like for example here we have 3 dots, so these come on the top, and then the ones with 2 dots are below it, and then the ones with 1 dot, and then the ones without a dot. Now you can use dots or even backslash, so this allows it to also jump up, and I think the dot is over or higher than the backslash. You can reuse the variables on different parts of the project. So as you can see, here we're using some font variables, and these are from the body. We're using some size variables, color variables, and so on. You can also use these variables in your custom code. So I'm going to show you here, for example, again from the Lumus framework, you can see they're using some of the padding, vertical, large, and this is a variable. And to get this variable or the variable name and structure, you can go to variables, and then if I go to padding, for example, padding vertical large, I click on the settings icon and I can see the name of the variable here in CSS format. I can copy this and paste it in my own custom code or wherever I want to be using it within the project. One catch about variables though is that they are not yet mobile responsive. Hopefully we get to see an update soon on that, but for now, just not worry. There are already some custom codes that we can use and some tricks to help us get over that point. Number 3 is CSS Custom Properties, and this is a dream come true. Now this is not something new, but it's something that makes life much easier, because this is custom properties. As you can see in the style panel at the end, you can add your own CSS properties, and the list is huge. There are over 200 properties that you can add from, and the values can be a value or function, CSS function, and these are all laid out in the website. For example, if I choose one of those, let's say align content, if you hover over it, you can see the view on MDN, and this is basically the docs for CSS, and you can understand it more, see the options that you have, the values that you can use for this specific property. And this is something that I'm really happy with. I'm using it as much as I can, learning more with it. Only be able to do custom properties with custom code, so we have to add a custom code and attach it and all that. But now you can just directly select your element and go down there, add the custom property, add as how much ever you want. Some custom properties also inherit from their parent element, so like this one is inherited from the body element. You can set a property that is specific to a class and use it as a utility class. There are a lot of options that you can work around with. So that's properties. Now finally, let's dig into some of those little features that are really awesome. One of them being the CMS that is compress assets, CMS compress assets. So when you upload a lot of pictures on your CMS items, you can now directly go there and compress the assets, just like you used to do with the images. So for example, if I want to take this PNG image and compress it, I can compress it from here, but now I can do the same thing in CMS. Another thing is that now you can compress in AVIF, which is very much lighter than WebP or PNG or any other one, and it really keeps the quality very good. So as you can see here, this is a file that's 724 kilobytes, but now with AVIF it's 7.3 kilobyte, which is awesome, and it still keeps the resolution, everything stays the same. Another great feature, especially for newcomers, is the AI assistant. So now you have an AI learning assistant that you can click on here, and you get this chatbot that you can chat with and get to learn things. So how can I make 3-column layout? And you can ask it, and it teaches you, it shows you a video. So let's actually try it. How can I make a 3-column layout? I like it because it links to the video or a video part somewhere on the Webflow University. So you can see here, it gave me the answer. It has a clip. It links you to the university docs, the specific section of that page, and you can see the clip right here. Amazing, super nice. Another great little feature that came out was the ability to add classes as an attribute. So as you see here with this component, and this is something where this feature is very useful, you can see here the class is added in the custom attribute place, and the value of it can be linked to a property. So then I can, have this property even more customizable and have the classes. So for example, here the class is left aligned. If I can say is center aligned, it centers everything, and this is very useful. Also, for example, for some utility classes, and instead of adding classes on top of classes in here, you can just add the main utility class here, and that will be, let's say, container or however class that you'll be frequently using without change. Finally, from the updates, Webflow Apps and the API have really sped up the game. Now we know that Webflow Apps are getting more and more in depth. There are a lot of apps that are being released almost every once in a while. The apps that are already there are pretty amazing. But on top of that, you can build your own apps if you check out the docs, developers.webflow.com, I think. And with this, you can interact with the designs, with the API, with the CMS. You can interact with a lot of things and create cool apps that can do amazing stuff for you. Now, I've created the app. I just need to submit it to Webflow, and I'll be doing that very soon. Probably make a video about this. My app is very simple. It's very straightforward, but it's very helpful. Now, Webflow is flexing hard, outpacing many other website builders out there, and that's why I'm all in on mastering it. A lot of new updates are being released. A lot of new updates are on the roadmap. Some things are slower than usual. So yeah, all in all, I'm super excited to see what's next, and I'm super excited to get deeper into these features and see what's possible.
Thank you for watching this video. I hope you guys liked it. Tomorrow we are going to get into more detailed use cases. Today was an overview of the Webflow platform. Now, as you can see, the platform has become much more powerful. There are still some limitations and some boundaries when it comes to scaling the website, and a lot of cool features are hidden behind an expensive payment plan. But the Webflow platform is currently one of the best website builders out there, and it's truly promising, and you can see that there are a lot of things that are coming and a lot of things that are on the way for this platform. So we're super excited. We're gonna see what happens during these 100 days. Of course, I'll be updating the videos if anything comes up. Nonetheless, I'll be continuing and making specific tutorials and continuing with this 100 days challenge. See you tomorrow in day 2.